C Love coming at you live. Give poets a voice. Like, comment, subscribe, join the channel, submit some shit. Yeah. Alright. My new poem's called Tell Him, Tell Me. Tell him I love him. Tell him I miss him. But never tell him I can't live without him because he made me learn how. Tell him I need him. Tell him I breathe him. But never tell him that I still cry for him. Tell him I think about him. Tell him I can't see a blue star without associating it with him. But never tell him that I only see him in the stars. Tell him I'm not what he thinks. Tell him they were wrong about me, but never tell him that he was wrong for feeling the way he feels. Tell him I'm not angry. Tell him even though I cry, I'm not sad, but never tell him I check his Twitter account every chance I get just so I can feel him close to me. Tell him his words hurt and his expectations hurt worse. Tell him I would have given him anything, but never tell him I would have sacrificed myself to give him those things. Tell him when it's cloudy and it rains, I think of him on that baseball field, but never tell him that I sneak into the games he umps just so I can see him. Tell him I see him in my dreams. Tell him I wake up and can still hear him, but never tell him that I keep a 300-day-old message in my voicemail just so I can play it on repeat when I realize he finally left me. Tell him, batter up and foul ball. Bring back every memory, every touch, every step, but never tell him that I make popcorn so I can tell myself I'm on the ball field with him when the smell fills the air in my house. Tell him every time I hear that coin flick on the Samsung Android from someone else's phone, I look up in hopes of seeing his smiling face, but never tell him that my heart sinks into the pit of my stomach, making a cave with no end when I can't find his grin. Tell him he was my soulmate. Tell him I wanted to have babies with him, but never tell him that those thoughts were the only things that consumed my mind and drew me further away from him. Tell him I don't believe in love anymore, and that fairy tales are a lie. Tell him I can no longer find what I was looking for, but never tell him I don't know what I was looking for. Tell me it's over and over again. Tell me I need to let it go, but never, ever, ever tell me it wasn't real. Tell me that's not love. Tell me love is mutual. Tell me he used me. Tell me he hated me. Tell me he never wanted me, but never tell me he lied to me when he told me how much he wanted me and our babies. Never tell me it was fake. Never tell me we didn't try. Never tell me he wasn't for me. Stop telling me you don't see. Stop telling me there's plenty of fish in the sea. Stop telling me I will find my one true love someday, because until you love without being loved in return, you will never understand this tell me hurt.